Welcome back. We're reading the Qur'an, starting on sign verse 46. Let's get on into it. Wealth and sons are allurements of the life of this world. But the things that endure, good deeds, are best in the sight of thy Lord, as rewards, and best as the foundation for hopes. One day we shall remove the mountains, and thou wilt see the earth as a level stretch, and we shall gather them all together, nor shall we leave out any one of them. And they will be marshalled before thy Lord in ranks, with the announcement, Now have ye come to us bare as we created you first. Ye thought we shall not fulfill the appointment made to you to meet us. And the book of deeds will be placed before you. The book of deeds will be placed before you. And thou wilt see the sinful in great terror because of what is recorded therein. They will say, Ah, woe to us! What a book is this! It leaves out nothing small or great, but takes account thereof. They will find all that they did placed before them, and not one will thy Lord treat with injustice. Behold, we said to the angels, Bow down to Adam. They bowed down except Iblis. He was one of the jinns, and he broke the command of his Lord. Will ye then take him and his progeny, children? No, the like, his ilk, right? As protectors rather than me. And they are enemies to you. Evil will be the exchange for the wrongdoers. I called them not to witness the creation of the heavens and the earth, nor even their own creation, nor is it for me to take as helpers such as lead men astray. One day he will say, Call on those whom ye thought to be my partners. They will call on them, but they will not listen to them, and we shall make for them a place of common perdition. And the sinful shall see the fire and apprehend that they have to fall therein. No means will they find to turn away therefrom. Remember that there was a scroll too? There was a scroll and there's a book too. We have explained in detail in this Qur'an for the benefit of mankind every kind of similitude, but man is in most things contentious. And what is there to keep back men from believing now that guidance has come to them, nor from praying for forgiveness from their Lord, but that they ask that the way of the ancients be repeated with them, or the wrath be brought to them face to face. We only send the apostles to give glad tidings and to give warnings, but the unbelievers dispute with vain argument in order therewith to weaken the truth, and they treat my signs as a jest, as also the fact that they are warned. And who doth more wrong than one who is reminded of the signs of his Lord, but turns away from them, forgetting the deeds which his hands have sent forth? Verily we have set veils over their hearts, lest they should understand this, and over their ears deafness. If thou callest them to guidance, even then will they never accept guidance. But your Lord is most forgiving, full of mercy. If he were to call them at once to account for what they have earned, then surely he would have hastened their punishment. But they have their appointed time, beyond which they will find no refuge. Such were the populations we destroyed when they committed iniquities, but we fixed an appointed time for their destruction. Behold, Moses said to his attendant, I will not give up until I reach the junction, the two seas, or until I spend years and years in travel. But when they reached the junction, they forgot about their fish, which took its course through the sea, straight as a tunnel. When they had passed on some distance, Moses said to his attendant, Bring us our early meal. Truly we have suffered much fatigue at this stage of our journey. He replied, Sawest thou what happened when we betook ourselves to the rock? I did indeed forget about the fish. None but Satan made me forget to tell you about it. It took its course through the sea in a marvelous way. Moses said, "That was what we were seeking after." So they went back on their footsteps, following the path they had come. So they found one of our servants, on whom we had bestowed mercy from ourselves, and whom we had taught knowledge from our own presence. Moses said to him, "May I follow thee on the footing that thou teach me something of the higher truth which thou hast been taught?" The other said, "Verily thou wilt not be able to have patience with me. And how canst thou have patience about things which thy understanding is not complete?" Yes. Moses said, "Thou wilt find me, if Allah so will, truly patient, nor shall I disobey thee in aught." The other said, "If then thou wouldest follow me, ask me no questions about anything until I myself speak to thee concerning it." So they both proceeded until they were in the boat. "He scuttled it," said Moses. "Hast thou scuttled it in order to drown those in it? Truly a strange thing hast thou done." He answered, "Did I not tell thee that thou canst have no patience with me?" Moses said, "Rebuke me not for forgetting, nor grieve me by raising difficulties in my case." Then they proceeded until they met a young man who slew him. Moses said, "Hast thou slain an innocent person who slain none? Truly a foul, unheard thing hast thou done." He answered, "Did I not tell thee that thou canst have no patience with me?" Moses said, "If ever I ask thee about anything after this, keep me not in thy company, then wouldest thou have received full excuse from my side." Then they proceeded until they came to the inhabitants of a town. They asked them for food, but they refused them hospitality. Refusing hospitality. They found there a wall on the point of falling down, but he set it up straight. Moses said, "If thou hadst wished, surely thou couldst have exacted some recompense for it." Okay, I get it. So he's like, if you wanted me to pay you the money for the food I was going to take, I would have done it if you would have asked. He answered, "This is the parting between me and thee. Now will I tell thee the interpretation of those things over which thou wast unable to hold patience." I will tell thee the interpretation of those things over which thou wast unable to hold patience. So to examine the moments when we didn't practice patience. As for the boat, it belonged to certain men in dire want. They plied on the water. I but wished to render it unserviceable, for there was after them a certain king who seized on every boat by force. As for the youth, his parents were people of faith, and we feared that he would grieve them by obstinate rebellion and ingratitude to Allah and man. So we desired that their Lord would give them in exchange a son better in purity of conduct and closer in affection. As for the wall, it belonged to two youths, orphans in the towns. There was beneath it buried treasure to which they entitled, "Their father had been a righteous man." So thy Lord desired that they should attain their age of full strength and get out their treasure, a mercy favor from thy Lord. I did not own of my accord. Such is the interpretation of those things over which thou wast unable to hold patience. They asked thee concerning Zulkarnain. Say, I will rehearse to you something of his story. Okay, I think that guy might be a prophet, maybe? Verily we established his power on earth, and we gave him the ways and the means to all ends. One such way he followed, until when he reached the setting of the sun, he found it set in a spring of murky water. Near it he found a people. We said, "O Zulkarnain, thou hast authority, either to punish them or to treat them with kindness." He said, "Whoever doth wrong him shall we punish. Then shall he be sent back to his Lord, and he will punish him with a punishment unheard of before. But whoever believes and works righteousness, he shall have a goodly reward, and easy will be his task as we order it by our command." Then followed he another way, until when he came to the rising of the sun, he found it rising on a people for whom we had provided no covering and protection against the sun. He left them as they were. We completely understood what was before him. Then followed he another way. and a tract between two mountains he found beneath them, a people who scarcely understood a word. They said, O Zulkarnain, the Gog and Magog people do great mischief on earth. Gog and Magog. I feel like I've heard that before. Shall we then render thee tribute in order that thou mightest erect a barrier between us and them? Should we then render thee tribute in order that thou might build a barrier? He said, The power in which my Lord has established me is better than tribute. Help me therefore with strength and labor. I will erect a strong barrier between you and them. Bring me blocks of iron at length. And when he had filled up the space between the two steep mountainsides, he said, Blow with your bellows. Then, when he made it red as fire, he said, Bring me, that I may pour over it molten lead. Thus were they made powerless to scale or dig through it. Cool, like totally blocked off the mountain pass. Very cool. Protection, security. He said, This is a mercy from my Lord. But when the promise of my Lord comes to pass, he will make it into dust. And the promise of my Lord is true. On that day we shall leave them to surge like waves on one another. The trumpet will be blown, and we shall collect them all together. The trumpet will be blown. My neighbor, who's a Jehovah's Witness, is constantly blowing a horn that he says keeps the devil away. It's a little strange, but sometimes this is like a funny joke to me. But I think, what if I don't recognize the real horn because my neighbor is constantly blowing his horn? It's good. And we shall present hell that day for unbelievers to see, all spread out. Unbelievers whose eyes had been under a veil from remembrance of me, and who had been unable to even hear, do the unbelievers think they can make my servants as protectors besides me? Verily, we have prepared hell for the unbelievers for their entertainment. Their entertainment. Say, shall we tell you of those who lose most in respect of their deeds, those whose efforts have been wasted in this life, while they thought that they were acquiring good by their works? They are those who deny the signs of their Lord and the fact of their having to meet him in the hereafter. Vain will be their works, nor shall we on the day of judgment give them any weight. That is their reward, hell, because they rejected faith and took my signs and my messengers by way of jest. As to those who believe and work righteous deeds, they have for their entertainment the gardens of paradise, wherein they shall dwell for aye. No change will they wish from them. Say, if the ocean were ink wherewith to write out the words of my Lord, sooner would the ocean be exhausted than would the words of my Lord, even if we added another ocean like it. For its aid, say, I am but a man like yourselves, but the inspiration has come to me that your God is one God. Whoever expects to meet his Lord, let him work righteousness, and in the worship of his Lord admit no one as partner. Well, the next section is Maryam. Okay. Ended off here, family. It's just interesting. The vain will be their works. I'm going to think about that. Interesting.